I was at Ground Zero about an hour and a half after the attack. I spent 4.5 months there, and I was the senior chaplain at Ground Zero, both for active and reserve forces, and for everybody that was down there. I was, lack of a better word, the boss on the religious side. I was in Brooklyn that morning for my job, non-military job, at a meeting, and the director of one of my offices, I'm an assistant housing commissioner for the state, so the director of the Brooklyn office said to me, he says, "There's some big fire in the World Trade Center. Let's go upstairs. I can show you," because we have an atrium, big glass windows, and we saw Tower 1 burning. That was the first building that was hit. And as we were looking outside, we saw a plane approach what was not then Tower 2 and slam right into the building. At that point, I turned and I said, "This doesn't look right. This doesn't look like an accident." I mean, first one tower's burning, now this happening. And within the hour, I received a call from the Army about the attacks. And at that time, I was in the Army National Guard. I was the Joint Chaplain. I was the boss for all the chaplains. And that I was advised by the person who ran our operations center that all forces are moving on New York City, and that I was being directed at that point to go to Point A. Of course, Point A quickly changed to Point B, and basically I was at Ground Zero before 12 o'clock. I did not know what I was doing there. I came there. I'm a person that's pretty decisive. I know what I have to do. I sat down on a set of steps on the corner of Liberty and Church. Behind me was Brooks Brothers, and I didn't realize it only later on that it had been turned into a morgue where they're bringing bodies and body parts. I just sat there trying to figure out what I was going to be doing here. You know, am I going to go help search the rubble? Or am I going to deal with my soldiers? How am I going to deal with them? What am I going to deal with them? And within some hours, I figured out what my mission was going to be. So I was there for about 4.5 months. I left when Phase 1 was finished, which was the total search. And the total recovery began at Phase 2, and I was there every other day, but not per se as the lead chaplain down there. I figured out that my job, my mission, and the mission of all our chaplains that were going to be assigned there was to do two things. Number one, something we don't usually do is that we would have to deal with the civilian people that are down there, the rescuers, police, fire, what have you, but we also have to deal with our soldiers because it was a very traumatic event. They would see a lot of trauma, a lot of bad things, and that they would have a lot of issues because of what they saw, and I was right. And we had to prepare ourselves for that. And we also had to devise a plan, which I devised, about how the coverage was going to be, how many hours each chaplain was going to expose himself to this place. I lived down there 4.5 months, basically. I lived in Brooklyn. It was my home, but essentially I was there almost every night. For sure, the Shabbosim, I spent long weekends. I came home every so often here and there for a night, but not the weekends, because it was tough duty, and we had to make sure that people got a chance to pray. We got together Minyan. We were there for Rosh Hashanah. We blew Tekiyas at Ground Zero. It was a wild event. Rosh Hashanah was 10 days after the attack. We built a sukkah in the back of a 2.5-ton army truck, and that truck kept moving. So sometimes twice in a day, only because they were constantly with the area that they were working in. It was just lots of things that went on down there. President Bush spoke 2 days after the attack, addressed the country. He spoke about faith and belief. He told a story about an individual by the name of Avram Zalmanowitz, and he told that about what America is made of. It's a famous story he told to the whole world. When he talked, he spoke to the whole world. He said this man was Jewish, very devout, religious Jew. And his best friend at work, sat next to him, was a quadriplegic, which means someone brought that person to work every day, would take them home. And he would look after his needs, whatever they were, during the daytime. While he was at work, that was his job. Whatever the person needed, he had to go to the bathroom, he would help him, whatever he had to do. The morning of the attack, he had to come to work, and moments after he came to work, with this lady who brought him, the building was hit where he was. And when a building has a fire or smoke, you can't use elevators. I mean, that's the rule number one. You don't use elevators. So he was last seen carrying, this is the president talking, carrying his friend, who's a quadriplegic, he just can't move, down 28 flights of stairs. The president said that at this point they have not been found. And of course, as the story would have it, they were both killed. The president went on to stress that the person who was his friend was not of his faith nor of the same skin color, but that didn't matter. That was his friend. And because it was his friend, he was going to look out for him. He had that commitment to his friend. In the Army, we say that's your battle buddy, and that's the person that you're going to take care of. So about a month after that occurred, right before, I received a call from a relative of mine who told me about this person's sister, where she lived. She was very distraught. She came to shul. It was a shloshim, 30 days, and nothing, no body, no way to see the area, nothing. So she called me. She called my house. I spoke to her on the phone. She said it would be the biggest mitzvah that you could do, would be able, if they could just get near there, do something, say Kaddish, because they have nothing. You don't have a body, you can't say Kaddish. As a Jewish law, you just can't say Kaddish in the wind. And I made arrangements for that to happen. I made it work. Yet when I brought a group of people, 10 men, to come, actually less, it was myself. There were one or two other Jewish soldiers I knew that were there, but there was more than 10 people. And we came, and the rescue workers understood, searchers understood that this is a family of tragedy, and that people are starting to see chaplains around civilians at ground zero, so you understand right away. And of course, as the respect that they accord, they'd stop doing what they were doing. The people were just walking, and they would stop, and they just walked almost like a column. We stopped, and we done Marib about a block away. And one of the family relatives started saying Mishnayos, and started saying Kaddish, and I collapsed. And I think what occurred was that I did not have, the events were so quick moving, and I guess when it said Kaddish, it kind of hit me. I understood where I was. And I, of course, thought, I'm okay. I just got to get myself together. And that was something that happened, no ifs, ands, or buts. So cumulatively, over the first 30 days, there was lots of things happening every day, almost every hour of the day. I remember another incident down there. It was a Shabbos. There was an old lady. And of course, the place was barricaded off 2 blocks away. And I happened to be walking back from davening in a local shul, the Wall Street Synagogue. And this lady saw me, and she literally clung on. She clung on to me, and she showed me a picture of her son. She told me she's Jewish, and she said, "Can you help find him?" I said, "We'll take the picture." But no, she wanted to come with me to go look for her son. I said that wouldn't work. So I had chaplain assistants with me who are not Jewish. So I said, okay. I told one guy, I said, go bring me let's get a few chairs. We'll sit down, we'll talk. I talked to her for 2 hours. As I got up, she still wouldn't go, and I told her she could not go. It tore my heart that I couldn't take her down there to look, but they were very strict about it. Nobody was going down there. No ifs, ands, and buts. And I promised her that I would take the picture, I would post it in the area. She had a picture. And my assistant took the picture, and we posted it. But I don't think nobody came out of the rubble. And he was one of those people there. So those are the things that you don't forget, that you try, but you don't forget.